So,
User joined your channel.
it all started beautiful sunny day on Fisher's Island,
User left your channel.
where there was an event happening at the Department of Corrections. Um, Basically, there was one guy that escaped who was wanted by the United States Coast Guard, who was a former member of the United States Coast Guard. Um, Apparently, he had left going north of DOC. That was when I rolled up with my vehicle and 3 occupants in my vehicle as well. Um, Nobody was really at the front gate until I went around and a SD officer came,
User
where
joined
he
your
told
channel.
me that I basically, I had to wait, and I didn't really see a reason why. I mean, it was a federal event. I didn't know that um,
User
trespassing
joined your
would still be
channel.
a thing if there was still a federal event there. Um, so I went inside. He didn't come after me at all. There was a member of the
User
DOJ,
left your
or
channel.
Department of Justice, in the back with his vehicle. I drove this vehicle and my 2 other friends that were also occupants in there around. I asked him where the actual the suspect was that fled from DOC, and he basically said, you guys are trespassing, and he wasn't here. He fled in a boat. So
User left your
at
channel.
that point, I knew I had to turn around and I had to get out because, I misinterpreted what the actual federal event was. So I tried to leave the DOC with my 2 occupants here, and on the way out of DOC, the entrances were blocked by 2 police cars. One was a Department of Corrections officer behind a vehicle with a gun drawn, pointed at me and my occupants of my vehicle, and a sergeant of the sheriff's department. I pulled up to the block at the gate, where there was a couple cones and some spike strips laid out. I went over to the cones. I gently tapped them so I could get out, and the officers asked me to. They asked me in a very, very unappealing manner to step out of the car with my hands
User
up
left
and
your
no
channel.
weapon, otherwise I will be shot. And I asked them, after they, demanded I do this a bunch of times, why they were asking me to do this. At one point, I even asked them, if you tell me why you need me to step out of the vehicle, why this is happening, I will consider stepping out of the vehicle. And it basically just kept going on to the point where he said, if you go over the roadblock, I am going to shoot you. And I said, why are you going to shoot me? I didn't do anything wrong. And he said the same thing yet again. So I felt threatened. I felt like my life was being threatened. I didn't want to die. And I didn't also want to go to jail for, something that I didn't really do. Look, there's still a bullet hole in my door.
User joined your channel.
So
User left your
basically,
channel.
my front tire went over the roadblock a bit, and they started shooting out my tires, shooting at me, shooting at my my unarmed occupants in my vehicle. At that point, I had gotten out I had gotten out of DOC, the gate. One of my back tires were out. I believe it was the left tire that was out. Officers that were outside of DOC were responding to try to
User
apprehend
joined
me.
your channel.
For what reason, I'm not too sure. However, I kept going because
User
I
joined
didn't
your
feel as
channel.
if I did anything wrong. So car after car kept trying to basically hit into me, and they ended up getting hurt in the process because they felt as if they were going to stop me by, you know, either causing bodily injury to me or bodily injury to them. So it was an assumption of risk at that point. You know, I had caused no imminent threat to them at the time, and by the time that my car reached this position, they had already shot me multiple times, and by the time I reached here, both my basically all of my tires were broken and popped, and I was laying dead on the ground, bleeding out. I would like to see some action taken here. I certainly wasn't treated in a correct demeanor, professional demeanor, and I would like to be, you know, I would like to be, I would like to have some compensation for my medical bills, my vehicle, for my repair, my repairman right there, who's also my attorney, and you know, my friends. We went through some very mental and physical heartbreak here. Thank you.